stipulations, H and I, that were added by the Planning Commission at the meeting to help ensure that any effects to the residential properties are mitigated to the best extent possible. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of the rezoning, which would take that to the M1 district, sort of leveling off that, the purple line there. And then also on the final plat, recommended for approval with acceptance of the easements and rights-of-way. So, I don't know if you have any questions for staff.
I have a couple of questions. Throughout the process, while it was with the Planning Commission and everyone else, did the homeowners that are to the north of that, did they ever express any concerns about the expansion of the zoning there? Was there anything that was brought forth from that angle?
Yes, there was one property owner, the one directly to the north, spoke during the public hearing. She expressed concerns, essentially said she doesn't want to see, hear, or smell it. Basically just doesn't want to know that it's there, which is certainly understandable. That's one of the reasons that we've addressed in the stipulations with the lighting, the landscaping. Fortunately, it was addressed by the new regulations. We've looked at the photometric plan. We've tried to address those issues through the site plan process. Since this is not a plan zoning, those types of characteristics can't be mitigated through the zoning, but they were addressed through the site plan process.
Do you know how long Five Stars owned those two R1 lots?
I believe they've acquired them within the past year, so I don't know exactly.
And did they acquire them from that landowner, or was that actually, do you have an idea of that?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I can find that out, but...
Just curious. The other question I had was, the one thing that changed was the fuel storage with the new platting that's in the back of the lot. Is there a safety concern from a residential perspective, because technically it's closer to that back of that individual's house than it is to the front of their facility?
Let me back up to the site plan. So, yeah, the fuel storage area, for those who aren't familiar with the site plan, is the white rectangle, the left of the screen, near the northern property line, just next to the detention basin. And that does include the containment wall and all of the safety regulations that are required for it. Due to the layout of the site, that was really the only feasible place to put that. Again, we've got the screening and that sort of thing. I'm not sure statistically what the safety implications of that.
But we did ensure that they're in compliance with all the
they are in compliance
regulations
with all.
and everything for that. Okay.
Why couldn't it be put in another area?
The site plan was tight because they were trying to make sure that they could accommodate a specific number of vehicles in the back, and with the requirement for interior parking landscaping, the desire to salvage a portion of the existing building, and the truck maneuvering abilities, it made it a little bit, and then where the detention basin needed to be, it was just, there weren't a whole lot of options.
I mean, they would have lost a few parking spaces and a little bit of
Potentially.
but they could have moved it south.
I mean, theoretically, yes, anything could have been moved.
Amy, is that diesel, I would assume?
I'm sorry?
Diesel.
It's diesel, the storage fuel?
I believe so.
And where are the would it be diesel, though? I mean...
Most likely.
Yeah.
18-wheelers.
These are dump trucks.
They're dump trucks, not 18.
Yeah.
I think it'd be...
Tractor trailers.
When they just be...
And the applicant is here, so they may be able to, if they have anything to add, they can come up. Did you?
Where's the tire storage area?
The tire storage area is the dark gray rectangle that's on the north side of the building. It's open to the truck parking lot on the north and on the west. Then on the east side, it has an 8-foot building wall. Here, let me back up to the elevations. I don't know if I went the right way. Here we go. So the top view, the one on the top here, That's looking at the building from the west. So you can see that it's open on that side. Then it's harder to tell the center on the right, but it's completely open on the north. It's just the frame of the building, and the actual wall with the doors you're seeing is farther back. The roof comes out farther. And then underneath that, you can see that there's about an 8 or 9 foot portion of the building wall that extends for screening on that east side, and it is open at the top.
In regards to the homeowner's request, what are the operating hours for the business? Or do they have a lot of traffic that will come in and out of kind of normal business hours? Would that be an impact? Especially in the back side of that lot, I think is probably where the most concern would be.
My understanding from the applicant is that they will store the trucks here overnight. The employees will come, pick up the trucks, and leave, and then they'll come back at the end of the workday. So my understanding is that the trucks will all leave in the morning, they'll all come back at the end of the day, and that my assumption is that would be normal business hours.
Okay.
I'm not aware of anything beyond that.
Daylight to dusk, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, when you talked about the, I guess the comp plan, or, and this was zoned in the future as commercial, was it just like this track, or were there, I don't think that's.
There's the land use slide, the future land.
Right.
There we go.
Okay, so explain to me, this is, red is commercial.
Red is commercial, and this isn't, the future land uses shown are not zoning, but uses.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not necessarily correspond to what it would be zoned in the future. However, the commercial uses on the future land use map you would not expect to find M1 zoning there. So this would be going against what that's actually showing there on the map that we have adopted today.
But we've already done that, right? I mean, we've already zoned everything around it as M1, so we've already gone against the land, right?
And I'm not sure which came first, probably the M1 was there first.
M1 was there before the land use map, and that was there's a number of areas in the land use map that are existing zoning that have a potential future use of something different. But there were no unilateral rezonings that occurred as a result of that map, right.
Amy, the properties to the east and west of this property, I believe they're both auto repair businesses.
The property to the east is a plastics factory,
Oh,
and then to the west, I believe is like a warehouse.
Well, there's a
Brett Auto Works, but I think it's down a little bit
It's
further.
down.
It's a little bit,
In between.
Yep.
yeah.
And then there's the,
There was a CPA in there at one time, and
yeah, and there's warehouse space. I think the only business that's operating in the building to the west is the auto body. D&G maybe, but there's, yeah, so, but I guess the plastics plant has to have an M1?
That is
Or
zoned M1 all along there.
Well, I understand,
Couple
but
right there.
the plastics plant just to the east of there, does that have to be zoned M1?
It could be M1 or M2, but it's an industrial use, so it needs an industrial zoning.
The building to the west,
The building to the west,
does that have to be M1, or can that be
Um,
commercially zoned as it sits currently?
that one I'm not familiar enough with to say for certain. I would expect, based on what I do know, that it would probably require industrial zoning.
Okay, so auto body shop would require industrial zoning?
Not necessarily. It could be C3, but C3 is intended to be more the highway district near your interstate interchanges. That's not what we've called it, but that's sort of the intent behind it. So you wouldn't expect to find that in this location either.
Okay.
So what was the planning commission's rationale for